Hello everyone, I'm here with yet another recording on New World. I want to focus on crafting specifically as I have noticed people asking for that. Also because I disagree with the guides that are out there. And I have one example up here. Okay, so like the last time, I did work on a Google document with others, and we've created another quick sheet, but this time for crafting, because our first quick sheet was with the weapon stats and things of that nature. Before I get into that Google document, I just want to quickly share something really funny, also as kind of like a PSA for anybody who wants to create guides like we did. We were recently notified that Google flagged one of our documents as inappropriate content. We had a look at it and we brainstormed the crap out of our documents to figure out which of the things in our documents would cause Google to flag us. Well, I think we have found our answer, and it is the H plant. So we have renamed all of our H plants to linen plants because that seems to be the problem with Google. It's hilarious to us because that is the official name of the plant in real life, and it's the name of the plant in New World. It should not be that much of an issue for Google to allow us to mention the H plant. We'll call it linen plant to satisfy them, but I mean, come on. There are plenty of other problematic things that I can think of that they could go after instead of the freaking H plant, but whatever. And another thing too is that Google has a thing called Google Scholar. That is where you search for library references or articles or publications related to scholastic adventures. I did a Google search in there and I found the H plant in question in numerous publications through their search. So if they really don't like the H plant, then why on earth would you allow us to find it in your freaking search engine? But okay, whatever. I've had my laugh, so let me move on here. Okay. So let me tab over, or actually, no, wait, I don't need to tab over. Okay. So the quick reference sheet will explain all of this, but I want to just quickly echo what it was saying at the start. If you don't agree with our findings, you're more than welcome to pull up guides from Fix Your Life, YouTube channels, or one of the many other sources where we've seen guides. We just don't agree with them, that's all. So if you don't like our data or information, that is perfectly fine. You are more than welcome to go to another source if you want to. There isn't a one-stop method for leveling in New World. Oh, and while I'm at it, let me just go ahead and give you a quick PSA or information regarding all this. You will notice that most of the guides do say to use your level 0 recipes for whichever crafting profession that you desire, and there's a reason for that. It's because the devs screwed up with the math. I've mentioned this before in one of my past recordings, but that was when I was in my old recording room and wasn't able to up my mic volume to the level it is. So in the event that nobody was able to hear me or hasn't watched that recording, that is what I was trying to relay, is that the devs screwed up with the math, and it's pretty sad that something this blatantly obvious was either neglected or they just simply didn't care. And you'll see that once you go through our quick sheet, that it's pretty easy to see that with the math, the experience gained from certain items outweighs stuff that is far more expensive in certain cases, or it could be the complete opposite. But I just wanted to make sure you were aware of that before we got into the quick sheet, or if you do go into other guides, because that is what you will see. Everybody's going to tell you to use your level 0 recipes, for the most part. Anyways, moving on. Let's see. I need... Yes, you. Okay, I'm going to skip over weaponsmithing, armoring, and engineering because this quick sheet does a very good job of going over what you need to do for that. Instead, I'm going to focus on cooking and jewel crafting. I'll start with jewel crafting. Okay, jewel crafting is what I think is a gold profession, and it seems that some of the other people I work with on these documents seem to agree. Gold profession is an old MMO term that indicates that it's near impossible to level that particular thing naturally. This is something that you're going to have to either dump gold into or trade for, is what jewel crafting is appearing to be, aka a gold profession. If we're wrong, then so be it, but that is what it's looking like so far. If that's the case, it's not a huge deal, because once you get to level 60, or really even halfway into the game, you will be able to farm tons of gold, and you should be able to purchase the gems without an issue. But the question becomes, is it worth it? And that's the question that we're struggling to agree on. Because a lot of builds out there that are currently level 60 and PvPing just use the jewelry that they find through loot, which in a lot of cases is probably going to be better than crafted jewelry because of the fact that they come with set traits such as the cooldown thing, 6.8% more health, and things like that. 6.8% more health, depending on how your build is, will net you more health than 30 constitution. In some cases, it all depends on the numbers involved. And as far as the cooldown thing, that's just a thing that's great for every build. It doesn't matter if you're a spear or rapier build where your cooldowns are already fast enough, but yeah, it's just great for everybody. So yeah, I don't know if jewel crafting is worth it, and we can't agree on whether or not it is with the group, is the summary. But that's jewel crafting. Let's talk about cooking. You'll notice here that we did specifically state for levels 150 to 200 that we are unsure on the most efficient method for this, and that we do need to test more. There's a reason for this. It's because at the level 150 ration, it requires a tier 5 meat, which is poultry thighs, or an equivalent, which is a green colored item. Poultry thighs aren't exactly easy to come by, but we are aware that there are other tier 5 meats that are easy to come by, such as fish, or in certain cases meat from higher level animals would certainly qualify for tier 5. So we just don't know what the most efficient method is, and or we can't agree on it, because we recognize that you have one of two methods to work with, and also because fishing, at least at those levels, is much easier or more efficient when you have focus. At the 50 focus milestone is plus 10% fishing line tension. It may not seem like a big deal at the earlier levels of fishing, because fishing is fairly easy at the earlier levels, but once you start getting into mid to late levels of fishing, you will notice that 10% fishing line tension really helps in terms of ensuring you catch the fish and also making it just easier on your time. So we just need more time to fully explore those two methods, whether that be fishing or just hunting animals. We just need more time. But for right now, we can at least let you know that we understand, at least to levels 50 to 150, that you can use blueberries along with the gray color fish, which are very easy to catch, up until that 150 mark. Given that this recording was going to be short, I want to just quickly deviate into some stuff that relates to the resource runs, as I notice this is a huge problem in New World. Okay, this is going to involve more old MMO terms. One's train and one's kiting. Let me explain train first. Train is when you purposely run through a group of mobs or are running away from mobs, and those mobs, in the process of chasing you, aggro somebody else. That's a train. Trains can be either malicious / intentional or accidental. It's pretty easy for me to tell in New World if it's malicious or accidental, because if you're at full HP and you've got a pack of mobs chasing you, that tells me it's malicious. It tells me that you can't be bothered to take the time out of your day to clear your aggro. If it's accidental, that's something like you're at half HP or quarter HP or somewhere around those numbers, and you think that you're going to die and you want out of there. I can understand accidental trains because, there are times where I've been in trouble and I've needed help, or I didn't have malicious intent when trying to deal with the problem. So I understand that. It's just the people who are malicious or intentional with it that's my problem, because there have been one too many times where I've been on my resource runs and I've been backstabbed by monsters because somebody can't take the time out of their day to clear their aggro. I've done my best to explain this in global chat before. People have tried to argue with me that that's kiting. So let me explain kiting now to show you why they're wrong. Kiting, at least in the traditional sense, that is the way it was meant in the old MMOs, just like Train was, is when you purposely run around an enemy in an attempt to kill them either through slow repeated strikes or through tactical retreating strikes. That's kiting. That is a completely different beast than Trains. In New World, it's actually impossible to kite because monsters will retreat after a certain point. I pointed this out with the musket as an example. In one of my past recordings, I was saying that in PvE, you can't use the musket at its maximum range because the monsters just retreat and then you end up wasting ammo. That's why I was saying the bow is better in PvE because you do more damage much quicker than the musket using heavy strikes, aka fully drawn back strikes. That means that you should be able to kill the monster or at least have a core HP at a shorter distance than you would with the musket. So, either way, though, kiting is not a thing with the New World because of just how messed up the mob retreating thing is. But yeah, so don't be that person that trains other people. I am sick and tired of it happening in New World. Now, I have no problem assisting you if you are in trouble because I farm literally hundreds of ores or plants every hour. Me missing one node is not a huge deal because I have set routes. I will just return to my route after abandoning my node to help you. So if it is accidental and you truly need help, I have no problem doing that. But just don't do it on purpose, where you interrupt my run because you can't have the patience to deal with your aggro. One other thing while I'm on this little tangent. Please put up camps more often. Look, your camps are not only a respawn point, but they're also a place to heal. So the more you can put them up, the better. Now, I'm not saying do it all the time, because obviously that would be annoying to do, but do it as much as you can. Because even if you think you're safe, it's likely you're not. There have been so many times where I have been almost killed by way too fast respawns or somebody training me. Yes, even if you know that you're at the level where you can handle that area, there's a good chance there's going to be that one a-hole in the server who is going to train you. And then you're going to get respawns or something. There is always something that you don't know is going to happen. And you have to just do your best to prepare for the unknown, starting with making camps, because that will save you time if you do die. That is all I have. Thanks for listening.